Bashar, I was wondering if you could tell me the significance.
One moment, what happened to hello and good day?
We do that over and over. I was trying to spare you.
I always do it for the first time.
Hello, Bashar.
And good day to you.
Thank you.
Now, what would you like to discuss?
I would like to know about, I had a sense back in the 90s that I was looking for something. It's just
Back when you were in your 90s?
back in the 1990s.
Oh, yes, I know.
And then
I'm just
I
having
recently,
some fun with you.
and then I recently was shown something called the Vajra Ascension Channel in Berkeley, and I was wondering what the significance of that was to your purpose
The
here.
significance of it is that you have attracted yourself, based on the belief system that you hold to be true right now, to a permission slip that is harmoniously and vibrationally aligned with that belief system that you believe will allow you to give yourself more permission to be more of who you are.
But I discovered it, and it's what led me to all of these changes in my belief structures. I wasn't thinking
One permission slip may lead to another. You are a dynamically changing being. You will always attract yourself to another permission slip, a different permission slip, as is most representative at that moment of attraction to whatever changes in your belief system have happened to create you to be a different being at that moment, who is now attracted to a different permission slip.
And how many ascension channels are there in the United States?
Quite a few.
So this is regional for us.
It is international in its own way. But again, it is simply one kind of permission slip that is representative of a slice of the collective consensus agreement reality. And so many different people may find that it is advantageous for them to align with it for now. But they will move on to other things too.
So is the Ascension Channel specifically only for, like you said, only for some people?
Yes.
And is this separate from people who might be aligning with certain extraterrestrial craft? Is it
It can be similar, but it can be different. You have to take it on a case-by-case basis as to what the vibrational path is that each individual may require to discover what it is they have chosen to explore in this life.
Well, is everybody who's using the Ascension Channel, are they still associated with the spacecraft then?
No.
Then it's a dimensional shift channel?
All things are dimensional shifts. You're shifting through different parallel dimensional realities billions of times a second. It's about becoming aware that you're shifting billions of times a second and then having conscious awareness of shifting in the direction that is most representative of the frequency that you prefer, so that you can start experiencing a succession of different parallel versions of Earth that are more and more reflective and representative of the version of Earth that you prefer. You never change the world you're on. You shift to another world that's already more representative of the change you've made within yourself.
So is it a portal?
I beg your pardon?
Is the Vajra Ascension Channel a portal?
It can be used as a type of portal, as many permission slips can also be used.
And it doesn't have to be associated with extraterrestrial craft?
No, it does not.
And people who don't choose to use that may use extraterrestrial craft as an alternative path.
They may use that. They may use many different kinds of things as alternatives. It doesn't take away the fact that you're always shifting. That's a natural thing. You can't stop. You can't help it. That's just a description of the mechanism, of how you experience the concept of space and time and change and movement. That's what creates the side effect you call time and change, is that your consciousness, like a projector light through a strip of film going through different frames and projecting the illusion of change on a movie screen, your consciousness is shifting through different frames of parallel realities billions of times per second, actually creating you to be a different person billions of times per second, and whatever you deem to be most relevant for you will be the vibration you will attract yourself to, the symbols that you will use, the permission slips that will be workable for you at that moment, and you will take yourself through a succession of different parallel realities that are more and more reflective every single moment of whatever changes and whatever direction the changes have taken within you. And it can be represented by any symbol that works for you. Does that make sense?
It does.
Does this help?
Yes. Can I ask a question about the Enneagram?
About?
The Enneagram.
The Enneagram.
Enneagram.
Yes.
So there's I feel karmically connected and seem to have memory back to the time of the Anunnaki.
Yes.
And
well, all of you have Anunnaki genetics, so that's not surprising.
Yeah. And the Anunnaki are kind of at the center bottom position.
Yes.
And then I've been studying with Drinvalo Melchizedek, and
All
he's
right.
saying that our future parents are the Syrians, but on this Enneagram, there's the Syrians on the left, and
Yes.
then there's the Arcturians
Yes.
and the Pleiadians. So different people are taking different paths.
Yes, of course. If there was only one path, there would only be one person. Look around.
So how many, but you only have 3, but there could be infinite paths, so.
Yes, of course, but what we were describing were general, overriding collective consciousness vibrations. That's like saying we described 3 different schools to you, but how many students go to those schools and are taking different kinds of courses? You understand?
Yeah.
The Enneagram is not meant to differentiate the individual pathways. It's meant to simply give an overview of the general energies that you are incorporating within the growth and the expansion of your consciousness that are already contained within your genetic makeup.
So should I focus on the Syrians since he mentioned that?
Should you? I don't know. You tell me.
Well,
What excites you the most?
it's hard to get information on the Arcturians.
The idea of the Arcturus vibration is simply that which aligns you into remembering more of who you are. The Arcturians, as you call them, don't exist as a race in the way you think of it. They're a non-physical collective consciousness that is giving off aid and assistance by radiating a specific frequency that, if you choose to align with it, will actually give you a better capacity to see more clearly who it is you truly are on a larger level.
So as long as I just stay with the love that's rising, I'll gravitate to the one that resonates the most with me.
Always, 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 as we say, the key is to use excitement as the information being delivered to you by the higher mind that describes the next step on your path. Excitement is communication from the higher mind telling you this is the next thing to take action on. That's why you feel that passion, that excitement. That's an actual communication translated by your body from the higher mind, that this is the next direction to go in. It's guiding you like a searchlight. You feel that light in the form, in the vibration you call excitement, passion, creativity, love, joy. Yes?
Yes, but
yes?
I feel that the Vajra Ascension channel, you said, well, it's something more or less that I've created that I resonate with, but
Yes.
you could say that I created you as well. I mean,
Of course.
I feel like it's as real as you are.
All right. Remember that every single belief system carries with it in its structure the idea of perpetuating and reinforcing itself to make any other belief seem to be less likely. Otherwise, if a belief didn't do that, you wouldn't be able to focus on the experience that that belief has to offer. So of course, other things are not going to seem as real as the belief you're focused on, but as soon as you change your belief, then the new belief will seem real and the other ones will no longer seem real. So they'll all be real at some point, and they're all just as unreal at the same time. Remember, there are only really 5 facts in existence, if you want to call them this. Only 5 descriptions of the actual structure of existence, what we call the 5 laws. You exist. There is nothing you can do to change that. Nothing. Go ahead, try. I'm waiting. You exist. Everything is here and now. The one is the all are the one. What you put out is what you get back. Every single thing changes except the laws. Everything else is a combination in some way, shape, or form of those 5 facts. Every experience you have is your ball game, your way of interpreting, rearranging, and experiencing those 5 facts. And that's it.
Do you happen to have a copy of the laws?
I just told them to you.
Oh, that's the laws.
That is the 5 laws. You exist. You see, when we say law, we mean with a capital L, meaning there is absolutely nothing you can do to undo that law. Such things that you call, the speed of light and so on and so forth, the laws of physics and so on and so forth. Well, yes, in your local area they may seem like laws, but they're just local conditions. They're not true everywhere, in every dimension, on every level of reality. But the 5 laws are true everywhere, for everyone, every when, every how. Everything. You exist. You can't do anything to change that. Everything is here and now. You can't do anything to change that. The one is the all are the one. You can't do anything to change that. What you put out is what you get back. You can't do anything to change that. Everything changes and you can't do anything to change that. And that's it. Those are the 5 laws. Those are the 5 facts. Those are the 5 descriptions of the structure of existence itself. Everything else, every other experience, anywhere, everywhere, anywhere, any when, is based on those 5 facts and is an interpretation, a rearrangement, an interposition, a perspective shift of those 5 facts. And that's it. So everything is your projection. Everything is your creation. Everything is your reflection based on those 5 laws.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think so. Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
So good to connect to you in this way. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Yeah. So I want to discuss one of our darker expressions, one of our demons.
How exciting.
Yes. And I want to talk a little bit about anger, which can give way to
Yes.
aggression and violence that we have in our culture.
Yes. Although, what we might call natural anger only lasts about 15 seconds. Beyond that, it's self-judgment. That's the kind of anger you're actually talking about that causes the difficulties.
Right.
But let's also use a new term here. Because the idea of what we're referring to as natural anger is really just resonance alignment. When you experience something or are exposed to something that you really are vibrationally incompatible with, that you do not resonate to, you will feel that resonant reflection.
Yes.
And you will say, I am aligned with this or I am not. And in that moment, that's all you need to know. And that lasts about 15 seconds. Anything beyond that, you usually then get into all sorts of belief systems and value judgments and all sorts of other things, which is something else completely different. But go on to say what you're going to say, and then I will tell you something also that is very powerful with respect to this so-called emotion of anger or resonance alignment.
Yeah, I think what I want to know is there something that we can learn on our kind of transition into a more evolved way of being? You know, you're farther along on that path, and I guess I want to know if your culture experiences anger, if you guys experience or express violence or aggression, and if you do, or even if you don't, how did you move through that, and what could we learn from that so that in this transition we can have a more, I don't know, evolved or constructive way of dealing with that kind of resonance, that energy that we tend to express violently and destructively, at least at this time.
I am angry that you asked.
All right, so you do feel it.
No, I'm kidding. No,
well, I'm curious,
do not
actually.
experience the idea that you call anger in the way that you mean it. No. We experience resonant alignment, yes. However, let us introduce a new idea first and foremost before we go on. There is a phrase that exists in your storytelling structure that is actually representative of an emotion, even though most of you don't think of it as such. The idea of this resonance alignment, when you see something that is vibrationally incompatible, when there is some kind of resonance there, that you say, I wish to do something about this. It's called a call to action. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's not a judgment, it's not a value judgment, but it's a recognition that something must be acted on in order to express the idea of the alignment that you feel in contrast or comparison to the misalignment you perceive. And that emotion, that natural resonant realignment or comparison, rather than actually being referred to now as natural anger that lasts 15 seconds, is actually capable of being described as what might be called a new emotional label, a new emotional definition. And that new emotion is a call to action. Do you understand?
Yeah, I like that. I feel that.
All right. Now, here's something else that's a very, very, very powerful tool. You have a word for it, but many of you don't actually understand what it is. Forgiveness. You follow me? Mm-hmm. What is forgiveness? I'll tell you. Thank you. This is what forgiveness as a state of being is actually vibrationally, mechanically doing. When you go into a state of forgiveness, you are forgiving yourself, you are forgiving others. Yes?
Yes.
It actually is a vibration that has the ability to actually neutralize the negative consequences of a negative choice someone may have made. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. You know that everything you choose to do will have in physical reality some form of consequence, some form of outcome. Even in what you call the afterlife, you've heard the term the life review.
Yes.
You will look back at your life and you will experience all of the consequences of the choices you made from the point of view of anyone who was ever in any way, shape, or form choosing to be affected by anything that you did, as if you were them. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, forgiveness of self and forgiveness of others can actually neutralize the experience of a consequence generated through a negative act. So that even in physical life and even in the life review, if that gets canceled out by forgiveness, the person will not have to experience the consequence of a choice they made that might have had a negative consequence. This is the actual interpretation and meaning when people in religious contexts say that a being like Jesus took away your sins. It means when that being said, "Father, forgive them, they know not what they do," he was offering you the vibrational teaching that forgiveness can actually neutralize the consequence of a negative choice so that you wouldn't have to experience what it was the people of the time were doing to him as a negative act. He forgave you all for all time. Do you understand?
Yes.
That has the profound effect of allowing you to be free to forgive yourselves and others and come back into alignment. This is where we began our understanding and practice of neutrality for any kind of consequence of a choice that might have been negative in our ancient past. That, combined with the understanding and awakening into the idea that is most often referred to as lucidity. You know that you can have what you call lucid dreams, where you, in a sense, kind of wake up in the dream and know that you're dreaming, yes?
Yes.
That lucidity can actually be compounded on, magnified, built upon. When you are aware, when you're dreaming in the dream state that you're dreaming and become lucid in the dream, you can start to control the dream. You can decide what happens in the dream. You can rearrange it. You can make things happen that otherwise might simply have run on automatic. But further than that, in the lucid state, in the dream state, you can actually go to the barrier between the physical and the non-physical experience that we refer to as the template level or blueprint level reality, where all the things that you experience in physical reality are actually determined by you ahead of time in the energetic blueprint level, and then they manifest in physical reality in time. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yes.
But when you're lucid in the dream state, you can go to the blueprint and you can change the blueprint and actually change what you experience in your physical reality when you wake up. And that's what we discovered, is that the more we became lucid in the dream state and were able to change the actual template level, the more we became lucid in the physical dream.
Yes.
And thus, very quickly in our society, there was no difference anymore, or at least not anywhere near as much difference between the idea of the physical reality and the dream reality. And that's why now we no longer sleep, we no longer eat, we are always awake in the dream and always dreaming. The paradox is that we realize that when you go to sleep and have dreams at night, you're actually waking up. And when you wake up in the morning in physical reality, you're actually going to sleep. When you start realizing that you never actually leave, for lack of a better term, the spirit reality, you never leave heaven, if you want a metaphor, you never, ever, ever leave that state. That's your natural state. You are all only dreaming that you've left. But you're still there, having this dream there. You understand?
I do.
You've all gone to sleep in heaven and are dreaming you're in hell.
Yes. Can I ask about that hell for a moment?
Now, again, I'm being a little bit facetious because obviously life on earth can be heaven on earth. The key is that you are awakening to the fact that you can allow it to be so by letting go of the fears that generate the physical dream to seem so nightmarish. You're the ones creating the nightmares. You're the ones creating physical reality to be difficult, to be the hell on earth because of the negative definitions that you're buying into as true. As soon as you start buying into a different truth, it doesn't invalidate the truth that was there before, but it now allows you to experience a preference of a different truth that is more in alignment with your natural state and removes you from the illusion that you are out of control or that reality is happening to you instead of the truth, which is it's happening through you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is this helping?
Very much. Can I ask a follow-up on that?
Absolutely.
So speaking of dreams, and this, like even this negative vibration of anger or hurt or pain.
Self-judgment. Self-loathing. Self-denial. Self-diminishment. Self-depreciation. I'm not worthy. Mea culpa.
Yes. Now, I often find in my dreams that tend to be very intense. Everything feels like the volume has been turned up.
Yes.
So often my dream experience is more intense than this one. Like my emotional body.
That's because that actually is more real.
Yeah, well, yes. And I guess I'm confused or I don't quite understand why I often wake up in dreams that are so, like, if I'm angry in a dream, I'm in a rage. If I'm sad, I'm depressed and the world's ending.
All right, well, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Would you rather experience that in physical reality?
No, I mean, I'd rather have it the way I have it.
Exactly. And that's why.
But I don't know.
You're working all these things out on a level where you know it's safer to do so.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
And that's okay. That means by the time you wake up,
it's done.
It's done. You've cleared it. You've worked on it. You've come to some conclusion. You've redefined and reinvented yourself as a new person.
But am I clearing it?
And it's the new person that's waking up.
But is that what's happening? Am I clearing it or am I just perpetuating it? Because it happens a lot.
What do you think?
I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking.
What would you prefer that it be doing?
Well, I'd prefer that I be working through it because I want to be resonating at a higher
Then what
vibration.
beliefs are you holding on to that would make you think otherwise is the question to look into.
Right.
Yes?
Yes.
So when you look into that and find out if you're holding on to any definitions that make it seem as if it's just perpetuating instead of clearing, then as soon as you clear those, you'll know you're clearing.
Got it. I like that.
You see the paradox in
I
this?
do.
The lovely, lovely paradox? That's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. One more brief question.
Yeah.
So as a child, I was often afraid of the dark. And
Yes.
Even as an adult, I sometimes experience this, and it's often an experience, and I don't know if I'm making it all up, but it feels like another presence or something else is there.
There are many other presences that will come in contact with many of you from time to time, and if you've been raised to think of things in a certain way, You may experience a little bit of fear in those encounters because you recognize that you're shifting to another reality that your physical mind isn't really prepared to interpret. And therefore it starts to feel out of control and it starts to generate the idea of survival vibrations, but there's really nothing to fear.
Right. I guess how, is there a way that I can, I'm
there
actually
are many ways.
Excited about it because it feels like I'm about to be aware of something that's...
Understand that you are playing your part. Understand and remember that you made an agreement to play a part. Ask for more clarity so that you can play your part more clearly and allow yourself to participate in a more conscious way, and the fears will diminish.
Thank you.
Yes?
Yes, thank you, Bashar.
Does that help?
It does.
Pleasant dream.
Yeah, thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
Well, thank you. I have 3 questions.
Oh, all right. We don't know if we have 3 answers, but please proceed.
I suspect you have more than 3 answers.
Perhaps. We never know until we need them.
Okay. The first question relates to the interface between the individual versus the collective reality.
Yes.
And so specifically, you've spoken in previous transmissions about spaceships, landing, etc., disclosure, things like that.
Yes.
And what I'll call the collective reality in certain time frames for things to happen. And I guess my question is, what I don't understand,
yes,
if as I'm choosing alternate realities individually,
yes,
what's the interface between those two? Because if I'm ready to see individuals from other planets, etc.,
yes,
what difference does it make when the majority of people on this planet will see that?
The difference that you're talking about is the idea of remembering that as you change your energy, you're actually shifting to another parallel reality that is more in keeping with the vibrational change you've made within yourself. Therefore, as a new individual, you're acting with a new collective that may be more representative and more ready of the idea you're talking about experiencing.
Okay, so the time frames that you've given for the collective for experiences like that's just a general time frame?
Is a general overall probability time frame for how we perceive the idea of the shifting that's going on within all the individuals will be more in alignment with a collective reality on that vibratory level.
And there will be individual differences within that.
Of course. But nevertheless, we are talking in general probabilities here.
Okay.
Does that help?
That helps.
All
Thank
right.
you. Second question.
Yes.
I'm curious about what you would say about human sexuality.
Yes.
And also, some people know, some people don't know, dolphins are very sexual.
Yes, many animals are, including humans.
Correct. So I'm wondering what you would like to say on that topic.
What, in 25 words or less?
Exactly.
Is that not a topic that you yourselves have devoted books and books and books to? Sexuality obviously serves a function. It can serve many different kinds of functions. But we will say this most of all. When done within integrity, when done from a place of unconditional love, when done from a vibration of your true self, it can be a physiological act of bonding and a physiological act of connection, not only to each other in many ways, but to many levels of your own consciousness and to source itself. But of course, it depends on how it's done. It depends on with what intent you do it. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help? Or is there some other direction you wish to proceed?
No, I think that's
all right.
That's quite sufficient for that
all right.
one.
Well, we weren't sure if you were asking us on a date. And third?
You'd have to speak to my girlfriend about that.
All right.
Okay, the third one is about what many people here would call starseeds, individuals that have previous existences on other planets.
Well, simultaneous existences on other planets,
correct,
so to speak.
Yes.
Simultaneous connections to existences on other planets going on right now, even though some of them may be called the past or the future from your linear perspective.
So the question, I guess, is how common is that? And
Very.
Very common. Okay,
Yes.
so with most...
All of you, every single one of you, have connections to other realities, other dimensions that you are downloading information and energy from. The concept of the star seed really isn't so much a description of the specific physical nature of these connections or the mechanical arrangement of these connections, because you all have it. The idea of the star seed is the degree of awareness you have of those connections as they exist. Does that make sense?
Yes. And what's the significance of being more aware of that?
It's more reflective of the idea of a holistic point of view, that you are seeing more of yourself simultaneously in much similar fashion to what we described in the chess analogy of seeing many moves ahead simultaneously, seeing many parallel realities all at once, which gives you a greater sense of what you as a being actually are. And thus then you can draw consciously upon more of those connections and apply those connections and the information you download from them more effectively in your physical reality here, even as many of those connections are drawing upon you and other connections to download information that serves them in their incarnational experiences.
Excellent.
Yes?
That's helpful. May I ask one other thing?
That was a question.
So we're up to 4. Can I go for 5?
That was another question. Would you like to try for 6? Just ask the question.
Scanning my energy, is there anything that you would like to say to me or that you would find helpful, that I would find helpful personally?
Are you acting on your highest excitement to the best of your ability every moment that you possibly can with no assumptions or insistence or expectation to the outcome?
Mostly.
That means no. Therefore, I would ask you to survey and investigate those areas of your life where you are holding back. For it is those areas you need to look at, and in discovering what it is that you are choosing to hold yourself back with, you will discover ways of releasing those things and becoming even fuller.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I was going to ask you a question about what I was not seeing, what I was not accepting, or what I haven't learned.
But I just answered it, didn't I?
Yes.
How synchronous of us.
So now that leaves me without a question. I just wanted to check in and make
You
sure.
can make a statement. I will tell you a secret we have told to a few other people, and that is sometimes when you choose to make a statement instead of asking a question, you actually open up more doors that we can access more information through.
Then I would love to make a statement.
Then make a statement.
And my statement is that I've discovered that the reason my physical health is not all it can be is because I've been stubborn and not doing my work with the full joy, with no expectation of outcome.
And why have you chosen to do that up to this point? What have you been afraid of, in other words?
Exposure.
Exposure. You mean you're going to be naked?
Well, not physically, but yes.
And what is wrong with allowing people to know who you are?
They come after you.
They do.
They do.
And what does that have to do with what you experience in your life?
Wow.
You want help with that answer?
Yes, sir.
Nothing. It has nothing to do with anything if you choose to see it that way. You understand?
I do, yes.
There will always, for a time, on your world, in the way you experience it, there will always, for a time, be those who will not like what you have to say, who will not allow you to be you. You know why? Because when you are being you as fully as you can, you are a constant reminder to those who are not being themselves that they are not being themselves, and they don't like being reminded of that.
I got it.
You understand?
I do, yes.
But that is the greatest service you can actually provide them, because at least by example, you're giving them an opportunity to see through you that they could choose to be more fully themselves, even if they don't choose to.
Well,
By not being yourself, you are removing that opportunity from them. You are only reinforcing their choice to be afraid to be themselves. So at first they may rebel against seeing an example, because by coming from a negative state, they only see the idea in a negative way. In other words, they're saying, you're rubbing my nose in what it is I am too afraid to do, and I resent you for that. Good impression, yes? And so the idea is that they're coming from a negative state to begin with, and so that's the only way they can see it. But the more you are yourself, the more unconditionally compassionate and loving you will be. And maybe, just maybe, eventually, they will get tired of being such curmudgeons and will actually say, you know, she has something going for her. It's working for her. Maybe it will work for me. And then you have given them an opportunity to make a different choice. But if you withhold that, you're only reinforcing the same fear and saying, it's all right to stay there. I'm there too. Misery loves company.
Well, I'm going to say wow, because now I feel like a really big hypocrite.
No.
Well, no, one of the things I teach all the time to
Yes.
all of the people I work with is when you show up for yourself,
Yes.
you give others the opportunity to show up for themselves.
Absolutely.
And you said the same thing, only better. And
Just
it's
different.
Okay, well, different. And
Every
so-
single one of you is a gift. Do not deprive others of the gift of your being. You know the story, many of you perhaps, of the idea of the people sitting around a pot with different pictures on it. Do you know that story?
I do not.
A tribe is sitting around a large cooking pot, and on the cooking pot are painted many different kinds of images of their history. And as they sit around and sharing the meal, each one of them says what it is they are seeing the particular image of on their side of the pot. But if the person on the other side of the pot doesn't share their image, you don't have the whole history. You don't have the complete picture. You're leaving something out and depriving others of understanding their heritage.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So, say what's on your side of the pot, so everyone can share the meal and enjoy the feast. Yes?
Yes.
Sound like fun?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to be in your energy again, Bashar.
Well, thank you.
Gonna
Good
choose
day to you.
Thank you. I'm going to choose to speak technical today.
Technical. All right.
So,
Talk tech.
Continuing from our previous conversation earlier this year, I'm left with questions about gravity
Yes.
and about the nested capacitor design.
Yes.
So we spoke about the prime radiant
Yes.
and its relationship to the.
You've just lost half the audience.
You wish to explain then?
Prime radiant, very briefly, is simply the idea that if you imagine, and this is just an analogy, imagine a single particle in all of existence. If you wish, imagine one tiny little subatomic particle in a big black void. Nothing else exists. This one tiny particle, because it's the only thing, has no rules. It can go as fast as it wants. If it travels thus then at infinite speed throughout this black void, in whatever pattern it wishes, it will appear to be many particles all at once, because it's going so fast, it can appear next to itself over and over and over again at the same time. This is how reality is structured, and that's why you literally are made of the same thing that everyone and everything else is. This is the prime radiant idea from our civilization. Please continue.
Correct. So you spoke about structure.
Yes.
And in our conversation, we related the prime radiant to gravity.
In a sense, yes, there is an aspect of that, obviously, that creates what you experience as gravity, yes.
Okay, so in the idea of the fabric of space and time,
Yes.
gravity appears to be an energy of high vibrational quality.
Yes.
Why? Because it bends it,
Well, so to speak, yes.
at least to our modern day scientists. And it's still very misunderstood.
Oh, yes.
Or highly non-understood.
Yes.
So could you expand on a little more on the nature of gravity, how to create it, handle
Yes.
it, harness it, and manipulate it?
Turn around and look at the holotope. Do you see the holotope?
Yes.
Do you see the geometric pattern?
The fractal, yes.
Do you see where the lines cross each other and where they don't?
Yes.
The idea is that where the lines cross each other the most is what you call the crystallization of energy down into matter. The idea is that the relationship of those nodal points is gravity. Do you understand this analogy?
Yes.
Then there you go. Allow yourself to understand how the nodal points are reflective of the matrix in which the material exists, and you will understand how to stretch and bend those nodal points according to certain geometric patterns, such as Fibonacci spirals. So when you understand the idea of Fibonacci spirals and how they overlap and create overlapping nodal points and cross each other again and again and again in certain ways and expand in certain ways, you will understand everything you need to know about the ideas of gravity, about the ideas of dark matter, about the ideas of dark energy, and why what you call your physical universe seems to be accelerating instead of slowing down. One example. If you understand the idea of taking a Fibonacci spiral in one direction and a Fibonacci spiral in the opposite direction, you will understand that the spirals where they cross and cross again and cross again and cross again will be constantly farther and farther and farther and farther and farther apart. Yes?
Correct.
Well, if you understand that that's representative of the expansion of your universe, you will understand that that's why it's accelerating, because the idea of the spiral is it has to cover more distance to reach the next nodal point. By being that particular kind of curve, it does so. And in your space-time reality, that translates out to the idea of greater distance over the same time equals acceleration. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Then there you go. Learn the vibrational state of those Fibonacci spiral nodal points, and you will understand the relationship of gravity to matter, and you will understand the idea of how to manipulate the vibrations in order to manipulate gravity's relationship to matter. That's one way to approach it. There are several ways, but that's the way that we are talking about right here in terms of the idea of geometric structure.
Okay. You spoke about the vibrational nature of matter just now. And that actually leads to my second question.
Oh, all right.
So when we spoke, you mentioned that in order for an object to go from location A to location B,
yes,
all we would need to do would be to
change the locational variable of the object itself.
Which is vibration.
Location, it is a frequency within an energy equation, a signature vibration. Because location is not somewhere that an object exists in. Location is one of the properties of the object. And the object here and the object here are actually two different objects, because of the change and difference in the locational variable within the overall energy equation of that so-called object.
So in the present day, how can we measure that vibrational frequency?
Get a very, very, very flat table that's at least 6 to 10 feet long. Very flat. Take a very thin copper ball, about 3 inches, 4 inches in diameter, hollow, very thin, as perfectly round as you can make it. Put it at one end of the table. Strike it and get it to vibrate, or vibrate it through some other means. Measure those vibrations as precisely as you can. Then move the ball to the other end of the table and repeat that measurement. Find the difference in those two measurements. If your instruments are sensitive enough, you will ultimately discover the difference in those two frequencies. And when you do, then you can put the ball back in position A, and then either acoustically or electromagnetically or any way you wish, bombard it, overwhelm it, in a sense, with the vibrational frequency that is specific to the other end of the table when the object was there, and you will see that the object will at least, if not disappear from here and wind up over there instantaneously, it will at least roll across the table to its new position and stop. And you will have begun to learn to chart the idea of that vibrational matrix map, which is what we use, and impose it over the idea of the physical reality, so that we understand, like a C chart, what the vibrational coordinates are for all the locations we wish to go to. Thus, then we isolate our ship in an electromagnetic gravitational bubble, unlock it from any particular reality, impose upon it the vibrational locational equation of where we wish to go, and thus then when we remove the bubble, pop, we disappear from there, and pop, we appear at our destination. Ultimately, you can do it that way, but begin with something like this experiment and allow your imagination to be your guide to alter it in whatever way, shape, or form you so desire. But as soon as your instruments are sensitive enough to tell the difference in the vibration of an object in two different locations, you'll be on your way to charting the vibrational map of the universe.
Perfect.
All right?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, no, the sacred day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Once again, we will continue with this transmission by first and foremost thanking each and every one of you in deep appreciation and gratitude for the co-creation of these interactions, which allows for certain changes to occur in the vibrational frequency of the makeup of both of our respective realities. This transmission, we would like to focus on an idea we have called, in your language, sacred circuitry. You all have diagrams of some, just a few, of the sacred circuits. What this is a reference to is a particular tool, a particular technique, a particular reflective idea that is unique in a very specific way. Most times what we have shared with you as tools and techniques and permission slips have come from our own society's understandings, our own society's applications of these principles that we discuss with you. While we have ourselves adopted and adapted this idea within our society, this particular technique comes as a gift, as a sharing, handed down from other societies in creation. We will only go so far back as to say that while it did not originate with them, what is relevant to this particular interaction is that this particular technique was also adopted and adapted by the civilization, the physical civilization in the star system of Sirius, and handed down to the hybrid civilization that we have already spoken of, that we call the first ones, the Shalanaya or the Yael, who have handed it down to our civilization, the Sathani people, and now we hand it down to you. So this is the first time that we are sharing a technique, a tool, a permission slip, a gift, handed down as a gift from other civilizations in a specific succession. And you are next in line to receive this gift, this sharing. So we bequeath this now to you, to make it your own, to adopt it and adapt it to your own imaginings, your own civilization. So while we will give you some brief instruction as to how perhaps to utilize this particular permission slip, please understand that in time you may also rely upon your own imagination, the conduit between your physical mind and higher mind, your spirit guides, your synchronicities, your own understandings of the choices that you have made to experience this reality. You may rely on these things to adapt this idea, this tool, in whatever way, shape, or form suits you best, individually and collectively. But the basic idea is that it will tap into, like many permission slips, the collective consciousness and unconsciousness of your civilization, the collective world spirit of your civilization, and that is why, even though you may adapt it in a very personal manner, it will have some effect on most of you even though it is a permission slip, and you are giving yourself permission by simply using this as a reflection to become more of yourselves, it will key into those things that are extremely common with most of you, because it taps right into the idea of the wiring of the brain, the neurological wiring of your brains. As we have said before, there are 3 levels to the idea of the reception of information in the idea of physical reality. There is the higher mind, which is the conceiver. There is the physical brain, which is the receiver, the antenna. And there is the physical mind, which is the perceiver of the experience. This permission slip, this gift, this sharing handed down, is specifically designed to assist you in rewiring and adapting your receiver, your antenna, your brain, your physical brain, in such a manner as to allow for many different things, one of which is greater communication between your physical mind and higher mind, allowing your brain to become not just superconductive, but hyperconductive, allowing information to go smoothly, effortlessly, in both directions, from physical to higher, from higher to physical. Thus acting also more as a network, allowing you to associate more readily, tap into and access more information more readily, gain perspectives that allow for broader understanding of various levels of your reality experience, that allow you to tap into broader capability at perceiving other levels of reality, other dimensions of experience. Of course, as we have also said, each and every thought you have changes the wiring of your brain, and based specifically on what we spoke of last night of your time in terms of shifting through parallel realities. The idea being that you are truly a different person, a new person, literally, every moment. The idea of learning how to consciously rewire your brains in specific ways will allow you more efficacy in becoming the person that you wish to become, that you prefer to become, who you prefer to be. And thus then, along with that, the attendant parallel reality that is reflective of that state. Now, as you gaze at the first 15 of the sacred circuits, and there are many, many more, but we will start here. We will keep it simple. The idea, first and foremost, one way that you can begin to utilize these would be to take some time, on your own time, to turn each and every one of these into its own, as you call them, flashcard, individually. 15 flashcards, each one with one symbol and one word upon it. As you thus create these flashcards, 1 to 15, with each attendant circuit and attendant word, the idea would be to sit in a quiet and meditative way, a relaxed and peaceful way, in an environment that you find relaxing and peaceful, with music if you wish, with colors if you wish, however you wish it to be, that to you represents a peaceful state, without interruption. The idea being that you will take and gaze at each one of these in succession, in order, 1 minute a card for 15 minutes. Do this 3 days in a row. 1 card at a time, 1 minute per card, in order, 1 through 15 for 15 minutes. And as you simply gaze and ponder and allow your mind to drift, and just absorb the idea of the shape, just absorb the idea of the attendant concept, without thinking, without analyzing. Just let it in. Just gaze at it. Just let your eyes be the true windows to your soul, your spirit, your mind, and everything else. Bless you. Allow yourselves the opportunity to just sit with these shapes and know that as you do so, what they are doing is that they are specifically designed to allow the neurological circuitry in your brain to rewire itself to be representative of each and every one of these symbolic shapes so that it may function in accord with the concept that is attendant to this shape. And overall, over the course of these first 15, allow you to more holistically function in a hyperconnective, hyperconductive, associative, accessing way to knowledge, information about yourself, about the cosmos, about all that is, in whatever way, shape, or form is appropriate for you as an individual aspect of creation. After you have done it 3 days in a row, in order, 1 through 15, each time, thereafter, you may do it in any order you so desire, any order you are attracted to, whatever it is, in that sense, you are wishing to focus on, you may do it in that way. And you do not necessarily have to even do them all. You may find yourself sometimes gravitating to simply 1, 2, or 3, or more in any given day. The idea, however, is that how many ever you decide on any given single day, and you do not need to do this more than once a day. You can do it twice. You can do it 3 times. I would not suggest you do it more. The idea is that you need to allow your brain time to adapt, time to incorporate, time to absorb, time to crystallize these effects, these adaptations, these circuits. So, start slow, start soft, let it take whatever time it is natural for it to take. And if you only do less than 15 on any given day, after you do the first 3 days in the order in which they come, then allow yourself again at any given sitting, even if you're only using 1, to not do it for more than 15 minutes. As we have spoken of before, in the session that we entitled 15 Minutes and Counting, and as you have observed and will observe with the meditation that is attendant to the holotope experience, 15 minutes is the time frame in your reality that best suits the absorption of information and the alteration and the rewiring of the brain for a specific task. Longer than that is really not efficient. Longer than that can actually, in some senses, before it is, in that sense, absorbed appropriately and adapted appropriately, before it is crystallized, can actually allow you to lose the effect a little bit. So keep it simple, keep it short, always keep it to 15 minutes. You do not need more than that, guaranteed. So, take a moment now. We don't have to spend the 15 minutes doing it, but just take a moment now, starting on the first page, to simply take a few seconds to gaze at each one in order, 1 through 15. This is just by way now of introducing your brain to the concept. You are making now a formal introduction to allow your brain to know what's coming, because the physical mind loves to know what's coming. So we will give it its due at the moment and give it a little bit of preparation. Look at number 1. Just number 1. Just take a moment and say hello to each symbol and form an associative, loving, peaceful, exciting, creative, playful energy with each symbol. Look at number 2. Do the same. Just 1 or 2 breaths with each symbol is all that is necessary, maybe 3 breaths. Take a moment, look at number 3. Let the symbol fill your gaze, fill your mind, feel it. In a sense, being recognized and acknowledged by your physical mind, by your brain. If you even wish to feel a sensation or create a sensation of the circuitry in your brain actually rewiring itself as you do this, that's fine, for this is the beginning of the permission slip, even in this simple form. Look at number 4. Allow yourself to familiarize the shape in your mind. Look at number 5. Take a breath. Take 2. Flip over to number 6. And understand, of course, again, that it is no accident. These are broken down into 5s. 5 being the number of humanity. This is one of the adaptations specifically for your civilization. So all the times we will introduce these circuits and more of them later on to you, they will always be given to you in clusters of 5. So look at number 6. Look at number 7. Allow yourself to drift to number 8. Ponder and explore the shapes of number 9 and number 10 at whatever rate you are comfortable with. You do not have to follow exactly the pace at which we are moving. Just take a moment to sit with it. And then go ahead and flip, if you wish, to 11. Allow yourselves to feel the expansiveness that comes with that symbol. Allow yourself to flip to number 12 in your mind. And feel the activity that comes with that. Allow yourself to ponder number 13, the great transformer. That which is the crucible that allows for all change in a smooth and effortless way. Then ponder, if you will, number 14, the great, in that sense, connector. To reinforce and recrystallize and establish your connection to all things. And then, last but certainly not least, the great manifestation. That which allows you to see all things coming into play, all things finding their appropriate place and time and timing. All the things you're already connected to suddenly being capable of appearing to you in your sight because you have expanded your frequency and thus are capable of seeing what was heretofore invisible to you. For that is all manifestation is the making visible which is already here, that which is invisible before. So thus then now you have this tool, this technique, this gift, this sharing, this permission slip. Do not worry about how you recreate these symbols on your flashcards. You may do them by hand. It is one of the reasons we instructed the channel, when we downloaded this information to him, to leave them as hand-drawn symbols. You do not need to make them any more precise. You can if you wish to. You may doll them up, decorate them up, in any way, shape, or form you so desire, as long as the basic symbol is maintained intact. You may make them more precise, or you may simply hand draw them as you see here. They will always work. It does not matter. And in some senses, in particular, in actual fact, if you actually hand draw them to the best of your ability, it will actually be more strongly connected to your circuitry, because you did it with your circuitry, more directly, more, shall we say, naturally. Again, it is up to you. If you feel a stronger kinship with them by rendering them via some form of computer art or what have you, that is up to you. But just allow yourself to sense whether the symbols thus then feel a little bit removed or whether they still feel a part of you, an extension of you, and capable of being related to by you in a natural way. That is what is most important. That you truly form a relationship with each and every one of these symbols Each and every one is like a little autonomous being with its own consciousness, its own vibration, its own reality, its own awareness, and it is willing to form a relationship with you and express itself as an imprint, an encodation in your brain, in your neurological circuitry, to aid and assist you in being a smooth receiver, an expanded antenna, and to help facilitate through the conduit of imagination and inspiration a greater dialogue, a clearer dialogue, an active dialogue and an active partnership between your physical mind and higher mind, using the facilitator of your brain, your receiver, your antenna. One moment, we have a guest who wishes to say a few words. Greetings. Greetings. I am the primary facilitator for the Sasani homeworld. What you would recognize in your future as the replacement for what you now call government, which we do not have. We have only those that assist in the facilitation of the synchronicity that exists within the telepathic bond between all of our race. We are speaking with you this day in this way because of this gift that our world passes down to you. And in this way allows you to become more connected with us as you become more connected with yourselves. We extend to you, all of you, our deep appreciation at being willing to become part of our family, our extended family in this way. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our family. By this gift, you will find yourselves from time to time, quite literally. By this gift, you will find yourselves from place to place, quite literally. With this gift, you will find space and time more flexible, more malleable. You will find shifts in your perceptions and your perspectives that will line up more truly with your fundamental selves, your core being, the aspects of your creatorhood, and more flow with your synchronicity. In particular, pay attention to the glyph, the circuit that is the circuit called flow. For when you arrive in pondering the circuit called flow, you will be specifically accelerating the energy of all that flows to you and all that flows from you. And as you align with this flow, you will more readily receive and you will more readily give that vibration that is translated in your reality as unconditional love. And as you are more willing to stand in the path, in the tunnel, in the conduit, in the pipeline of that flow, you will find yourselves becoming expanded in very specific ways that may allow you to catch glimpses of other realities that are concurrent with your own, that have relevance and meaning synchronistically for you, and may illuminate more readily, and may illuminate more clearly your particular choices for this life, and may assist you in recalling, reawakening the choices that you made for this physical reality, so as to more clearly illuminate the path you have chosen to be, and more clearly grant you understanding, true, fundamental understanding of why it is obvious to act upon your joy every moment that you have been granted existence and life. And allow your experience to be undifferentiated from what and who you are. For you are the experience you are having itself. You are the experience all that is having of itself. Have a grand experience with this gift. Once again, we welcome you to our family. We welcome you to our society, as you have welcomed us to yours. We salute you. We give you back your tutor. This is a time when you have arrived at a place where this being we call the primary facilitator thus then gives his 3 cents, and thus then acts as a demarcation that is another marker, another milestone on the path of contact, and allows you to know that you have expanded to the point to use this greeting from him as a barometer, to know that you have arrived at a point where you are now taking a step to another level, expanding to another level, to another accelerative level that will allow for more contact to begin to occur in a variety of ways. So do not be surprised, or if you wish to be surprised, go right ahead, by the fact that over the course of the remainder of what you call this orbit, this year, and into the beginning of your year you call 2011, that there may be far more reported activity of what you call spacecraft in your skies, and far more activity within you and yourselves and your memory and remembering that many of you, and in some ways all of you, have already had certain kinds of contact that you may simply not be remembering yet. But by this greeting as a demarcation, you will find that you may accelerate in your dreams or even in your physical waking state to begin to remember encounters you have already had on other levels and even on your level. And it is the pace at which you remember that contact has already occurred in certain ways that we use as a barometer to gauge. The rate at which you remember the contacts that have already occurred is the barometer we use to gauge when your society is ready for more. For remember, after your year of 2012, the quarantine will be off. And the idea of contact and the rate at which it occurs will no longer be based on the idea of our hands-off policy. It will totally be based on the rate at which you yourselves deem you are ready for open contact by your actions, by the things you do in your world, by the changes you create within yourself and the responses that occur within yourself to whatever is going on your planet. From that point forward, and what you call that particular demarcation point, the end of the old cycle, the beginning of the new, on your December 21st, 2012, will be the final date wherein we are prevented by our own reckonings from interacting with you. It will solely be in your hands as to determine when your world is willing to open up more and more for further relationship with all of us and others. So, we give you this tool, this day, as a particular special present to mark this birth and new birth and rebirth of yourselves as new people in a new reality with a different history and a completely different future that you are creating from a completely different present. So congratulations. Thank you for applauding yourselves. At this timing, we may begin with explorations, questions, and discussions that are pertinent and germane to the ideas we have expounded upon herein.